Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, so last 24 hours has been really strange for me. My friend Cheryl, I want to say shout out to Cheryl. She and I have been talking about various topics. I'm not going to go into it. But then a couple hours go by and my new friend Philip, same thing. He and I were talking and he literally brought up every topic I had just talked to her about, and it was all his idea, to talk about these things. And I'm like kind of freaking out here because I think I remember telling you guys a week or so ago that I started the podcast because I feel alone and I have no one to talk to about all the things I'm super interested in. And yesterday, I talked to two people that brought up the same exact topics that I wanted to talk about, but they brought it up and it was like, what? And then they're bringing up the same exact topics. And I'm like, ooh, the Ascension is supposed to bring us coincidences. And this was a really cool one. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of shaping up to be more and more interesting every day. So shout out to Philip and a shout out to Cheryl. I love you both. I'm glad that you are my new friends on this journey and you are Soul Tribe. You are both in my soul family and I'm so grateful. I know my show is bringing people together and that's pretty cool. So if you could tell, I'm having allergies today. I mentioned like the day, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that I had just swept my room. I had just, used my dusting thing and I dusted my whole room and I had washed my sheets, everything. And like 2 days later, my whole room was so dusty. It was like I had never cleaned in 2 or 3 months. So last night I went ahead and I swept my floor again, thinking, okay, this will take care of it. It won't be so dusty in here. And I woke up and it's like, I didn't clean again. And I'm like, am I just hopping from timeline to timeline in which I have to clean my room? And then I have to go to the next timeline to clean that room. This isn't fair. This part of the Ascension, if this is what's happening indeed, isn't fair. I mean, I don't know. It's like, it literally looks like I've had a fan blowing from the outside in all day long. It makes no sense. I mean, my computer is filthy. It's like covered in dust, but I just dusted it, and okay, I'm not doing it every day, but every other day should not be this dusty. I don't know. It's just so weird. And I was abducted last night again. I have another scoop mark taken out of my cheek, my left-hand side of my face. This is the third time that this has happened in the past month where I've gotten like literally scoop marks taken out of my skin. And I'm like, come on, guys, I need to look good for my twin flame, man. Like, I could probably cover this up with makeup. It's not like a scar. It's not a different color than the rest of my cheek. But I could tell there's an indentation that wasn't there. Just yesterday, it wasn't there. I look at myself in the mirror every day, when I go to wash my face or whatever. And it's like, what? Take the scoop mark out of my arm. No one's ever going to look at my arm. You know what I mean? Like, come on. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Anyway, yesterday I was in my kitchen making my coffee, and behind me I felt a presence, a pretty short presence. He wasn't very tall, but he had a great energy about him. So I spun around and I saw nothing there. I kind of saw an energy move a little bit, and I thought, well, it's just my imagination. I'm making stuff up or something. And I'm like, hello? And I felt the presence trying to connect with me. So I'm like, okay, I'd like to be connected with whoever's in front of me. And it was an elf, an elven energy. I'm like, oh, it felt very green, very, very green sort of energy, like plant life energy almost. And I'm like, can I help you? Do you need help? Am I here to, do you need me to help you? And he said, no, Mom, I'm here to help you. How may I be of service? And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm here to help you. May I be of service to you, Mom? And I'm like, oh, well, I need my house cleaned, but I'm not going to ask you to clean my house because, I saw Harry Potter. I believe in elf rights. I'm not trying to, it's like I'm like confused by this whole situation. And he says, no, Mom, I'm here. I want to help you. We wish to be of service to you. I'm like, whoa. First time this has ever happened to me. I'm like, absolutely. I need my house clean. And once it's clean, I need it always clean. And he says, what seems to be the problem? I'm like, well, I don't want to, point fingers or blame anyone, but I'm, clutterific a little bit. I clutter a little bit, like with books and notebooks and art supplies, but really my son is messy, really messy. He's a teenager and he's always just off and running, and he'll leave like bowls of food half eaten, and if I clean the whole house, the next day he is cooking and excited about cooking, and half my dishes are dirty again, and I don't have the energy to cope with all this. I'm a single mom and I don't have very much energy. I'm a light holder. And he goes, well, that's why I'm here. I go, okay, so I need my house clean, and once it's clean, I need to stay clean. And he said, okay, Mom, I'll take care of it. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? And he goes, well, anytime your son is going to leave a mess and he's about to walk away, I'll tug at his ear a little or at the hair behind his ear a little. I'm like, ooh, that would be really good, because I can't watch him 100% of the time, And so I'm like, yeah, do that. Don't hurt him. Don't ever hurt my child. He's my kid. But give him a little tug just so he kind of has a reminder. All right. Let's see if this works. This morning I wake up to my son knocking on my door, 11 o'clock in the morning. He goes, Mom, I just wanted to let you know I have hired a maid for us. I'm going to need you to pay her when she's finished. I've decided I want people over. I want to invite, my friends over sometimes. And he says, and I don't want it to be messy anymore in our house. I'm like, oh my God. My elf friend, he meant business. I'm like, okay, I'll pay her. Yeah, all right. That's awesome. I don't know, guys. This part of the Ascension's pretty cool. So, all right. All right. I've been living with a metallic taste in my mouth for a couple days. I don't know if it's from the dust in my house, might be from the traffic, or if it has something to do with the abduction last night. Maybe I was abducted more than once, or maybe my body's just automatically detoxing. I don't know. I'm trying to eat as much fresh fruit as possible. But yesterday I did have a burrito, which, it was an egg burrito. It was, not a meat burrito or anything. It was just egg. And so I don't know. That wouldn't have detoxed me. So I don't know. There's some strange things. It's just like itty bitty things I'm noticing. Like my bones inside my body vibrate where the rest of my body doesn't vibrate. Oh, is that happening to you guys? Are you vibrating? Feel like I'm going to lift off again. Every time I lay down, I feel like my whole body goes numb. Feel like I'm getting ready to lift off my bed. And I felt more energies around me, and more elven energies, which I've never felt. So, I don't know. There's an elven light language. Maybe I could go on YouTube and learn that. To talk to them in their own language would be pretty cool. I love the elves. They have an amazing energy. So things are changing. Oh, yeah. And the other thing is, yesterday, my pigeons ate from my hand. They're usually afraid of me. They flew right up to the window. In fact, Fred kind of slapped my hand with his wings a couple times, and Ethel ate right from my hand. I thought that was very weird and very, very cool. There's, it's one thing if it's an animal that is already domesticated, but it's another thing when you're like 3 stories up and a wild pigeon flies to you and eats from your hand. So, I don't know. I feel like yesterday I took back some of my spiritual power. I don't know if you guys have felt that, if you've gone through that also, but think about it this weekend, as you're going about your day, as you're walking around, consciously think, I am taking back my spiritual power. Let me know how it goes for you. It's something I've decided, and I feel it on other layers and levels than I ever did before. Before is more like I'm thinking about it and I'm paying it lip service, but I didn't feel it viscerally in my body or from the language of the heart, which is feeling, as much as I did in the past 24 hours. And that might have been what made the difference, to be honest with you. So I did want to tell you guys, I finally made it to iHeartRadio. I just got a message today. They accepted me, and now there's one more platform in which you can hear Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. I'm so grateful for that. I have been listening to them for maybe 10 years. I love iHeartRadio, and I heart iHeartRadio. I'm so happy that I'm on their platform. It's pretty cool, pretty special, guys. So I don't know if you guys listen to that or not, but that's just one more way. So I wanted to welcome officially our iHeartRadio to the growing number of podcast platforms and apps in which my podcast is available. So in the past 24 hours, we have had a spike of the Schumann resonance at 20 hertz. We also had a spike at 50 hertz and a considerably large one at 89 hertz frequency. The people who have been recording this say they're pretty sure now that the Earth is going into a higher and higher vibration. There's a clear sign that the planet is changing. Nobody can explain it, but we know it's something significant, said the scientists. It's happening. I'm so grateful, and it's happening. And we have scientific evidence to back up what we've been feeling all along. We all are one, and in the end, we're all going to know what's happening. Pretty crazy. Pretty cool. So, this is Throwback Thursday, guys. I am going to, for the next 3 weeks, put out 3 different parts to a story called The Magic Story, and I read it for you. It's an incredible story from the 1700s. It's a very strange and miraculous story. So I'm going to go ahead and upload that to the podcast. I'm not going to edit it at all. I'm just going to add music to it. Maybe to make it a little more exciting. And over the next 3 weeks, this week and then the next 2 weeks, you'll be getting a part of this story. So listen to it now in the next 2 weeks, and if you want to hear it all together in a month, you'll have it available to hear it again, all three episodes at one sitting. So it's a story that when I read it first, gave me the chills. Really freaked me out. I was like, woo, this is cool. The language is a little hard to understand. It's like from, 300 years ago. And yet it's very deeply spiritual and very relevant still today. Not everyone has heard of the story. So you're going to enjoy it. You're going to really, really enjoy it, I think. And while I'm saying that, my Kundalini is starting to get active. Earlier, God told me that you might feel like there's bugs crawling on your skin, even if you're clean and your skin is clean, and there really aren't any bugs there. As each individual cell is upgrading its DNA now, you might start to feel strange sensations. Don't be alarmed at it. It is normal. I noticed that if I put 1 drop of lavender essential oil in the palm of my hand and I rub my hands together, rub that over my face, that does kind of alleviate the symptoms of that. Likewise, just put a wet washcloth, maybe that might work. Hot or cold, up to you. You know, just to do something to fix or change the sensations a bit. You know, it's pretty remarkable what we're going through, and we're doing it. We're literally doing it. We're succeeding. I have no idea where we're going to be in a month. But I look forward to it. Woo, it's so cool. The other day I said a prayer that my oldest kid would find his way in life and that he would get back to his original idea of going to college. He had been kind of down and out when he lost his place to live, and then all these disasters started happening, and there's like 100,000 homeless people in Northern California right now, newly homeless, and he was just like, man, I can't afford it. So he writes to me a couple days ago and said, I'm going to go to MIT and get my degree in quantum mechanics and possibly get a dual degree in a secondary science. I'm like, whoa. Both of my kids took it upon themselves a couple years ago just to randomly start learning quantum physics, quantum mechanics. Something I always thought I would go back to school and get my PhD in myself, but I never told them that. Is that genetics at work? I don't know, but it is a super interesting topic. I've introduced the ideas of it to them through movies like What the Bleep Do We Know? So, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty excited about that. Pretty proud of my kids. You know, my youngest is like wanting to clean the house, and I'm catching him watching documentaries more lately. I don't know. We're all being changed in weird and strange and amazing ways. My youngest is also suddenly learning Russian out of nowhere. And he's learning about Slavic culture. He's like, I want to learn about a completely different culture than what we've been immersed in. All right. I'll sit there and listen to the Slavic music with you. This is cool. Slavic mythology is really trippy. Lots of dragons and medieval type of stuff. So, I don't know. How has your personal world changed for you? If you have any interesting stories for me, I would read them on the air in a heartbeat. If you want to tell them to me directly, go to anchor.fm/metaphysical. Let me know. Let me know. Tell me your stories. I'm so interested. I want to know how it's changing for people. You know, in what ways, what miraculous ways is your life changing? And the people around you, when you say a prayer for them and then they change within 24 hours, it's like, it's pretty intense. Especially when you didn't tell them. It's pretty intense. My oldest is like, I know I homeschooled, but I mean, can you like make an official looking diploma and kind of make the transcripts a little more professional so I could get into college, Mom? It's like, yeah, that's so cool. All right. Yeah, I'll do that. I'm in the middle of that right now. But, oh God. I don't know, guys. Every day is new and unfolds brand new things. Don't give up. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So I'm going to let you guys listen to the magic story, at least part 1. The introduction and the first part of the story is what I read, was it how many years ago? 2013 or 2012 maybe. So 6 to 6.5 years ago. I think it was like 6.5 years ago I read this first on the air. And it was on the Amazing Women of Power online radio station. So pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, on the other end of this, I'm going to come back and have a couple of words, and there it is. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you could get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast, and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. The Magic Story by Frederick von Rensselaer-Day. An immediate worldwide sensation was created after The Magic Story first made its appearance in 1900 in the original Success magazine. After 1,000s of requests for the reprint, a tiny silver book was published. The story is presented here so that you, too, may benefit from its powerful message. The book is in 2 parts. Part 1 below reveals the story of Sturtevant, a starving artist whose life was changed overnight after he purchased an old ragged scrapbook for 3 cents. Within the scrapbook, he found what he said was a magic story. Everyone he told the story to prospered by it. It seemed to change people's lives for the better, like magic. Part 2 is the actual magic story as found by Sturtevant.
The Magic Story, Part 1. How the Magic Story was Found. I was sitting alone in the cafe and had just reached for the sugar preparatory to putting it into my coffee. Outside, the weather was hideous. Snow and sleet came swirling down, and the wind howled frightfully. Every time the outer door opened, a draft of unwelcome air penetrated the uttermost corners of the room. Still, I was comfortable. The snow and sleet and wind conveyed nothing to me except an abstract thanksgiving that I was where it could not affect me. While I dreamed and sipped my coffee, the door opened and closed and admitted Sturtevant. Sturtevant was an undeniable failure, but withal an artist of more than ordinary talent. He had, however, fallen into the rut traveled by ne'er-do-wells, and he was out at the elbows as well as insolvent. As I raised my eyes to Sturtevant's, I was conscious of mild surprise at the change in his appearance. Yet he was not dressed differently. He wore the same threadbare coat in which he always appeared, and the old brown hat, it was the same. And yet there was something new and strange in his appearance. As he swished his hat around to relieve it of the burden of snow deposited by the howling nor'wester, there was something new in the gesticulation. I could not remember when I had invited Sturtevant to dine with me, but involuntarily I beckoned to him. He nodded and presently seated himself opposite to me. I asked him what he would have, and he, after scanning the bill of fare carelessly, ordered from it leisurely, and invited me to join him in coffee for two. I watched him in stupid wonder. But as I had invited the obligation, I was prepared to pay for it, although I knew I hadn't sufficient cash to settle the bill. Meanwhile, I noticed the brightness of his usual lackluster eyes and the healthful, hopeful glow upon his cheek with increasing amazement. "Have you lost a rich uncle?" I asked. "No," he replied calmly, "but I have found my mascot." "Brindle, bull, or terrier?" I inquired. "Courier," said Sturtevant, at length pausing with his coffee cup halfway to his lips. "I see that I have surprised you. It is not strange, for I am surprised at myself. I am a new man, a different man, and the alteration has taken place in the last few hours. You have seen me come into this place broke many a time when you have turned away, so that I would think you did not see me. I knew why you did that. It was not because you did not want to pay for a dinner, but because you did not have the money to do it. Is that your check? Let me have it." "Thank you. I haven't any money with me tonight, but, well, this is my treat." He called the waiter to him, and with an inimitable flourish, he signed his name on the back of the two checks, and he waved him away. After that, he was silent for a moment, while he looked into my eyes, smiling at the astonishment which I in vain strove to conceal. "Do you know an artist who possesses more talent than I?" he asked, presently. "No. Do you happen to know anything in the line of my profession that I could not accomplish if I applied myself to it?" "No. You have been a reporter for the dailies for how many? 7 or 8 years? Do you remember when I ever had any credit? Until tonight. No. Was I refused just now? You have seen for yourself. Tomorrow my new career begins. Within a month I shall have a bank account. Why? Because I have discovered the secret of success." "Yes," he continued, when I did not reply. "My fortune is made. I have been reading a strange story, and since reading it, I feel that my fortune is assured. It will make your fortune too. All you have to do is read it. You have no idea what it will do for you. Nothing is impossible after you know that story. It makes everything as plain as ABC. The very instant you grasp its true meaning, success is certain. This morning I was a hopeless, aimless bit of garbage in the metropolitan ash can. Tonight I wouldn't change places with a millionaire. That sounds foolish, but it is true. The millionaire has spent his enthusiasm. Mine is all at hand. You amaze me, I said, wondering if he had been drinking absinthe. Won't you tell me the story? I should like to hear it. Certainly. I mean to tell it to the whole world. It is really remarkable that it should have been written and should remain in print so long, with never a soul to appreciate it until now. This morning, I was starving. I hadn't any credit, nor a place to get a meal. I was seriously meditating suicide. I had gone to 3 of the papers for which I had done work, and had been handed back all that I had submitted. I had chose quickly between death by suicide and death slowly by starvation. Then I found the story and I read it. You can hardly imagine the transformation. Why, my dear boy, everything changed at once, and there you are. But what is the story, Sturtevant? Wait, let me finish. I took those old drawings to other editors, and every one of them was accepted at once. Can the story do for others what it has done for you? For example, would it be of assistance to me? I asked. Help you? Why not? Listen and I will tell it to you, although really you should read it. Still, I will tell it as best I can. It is like this, you see. The waiter interrupted us at that moment. He informed Sturtevant that he was wanted on the telephone. With a word of apology, the artist left the table. 5 minutes later, I saw him rush out into the sleet and the wind, and he disappeared. Within the recollection of the frequenters of that cafe, Sturtevant had never, ever before been called out by telephone. Now that of itself was substantial proof of a change in his circumstances. One night on the street, I encountered Avery, a former college chum, then a reporter on the evening papers. It was about a month after my memorable interview with Sturtevant, which by that time was almost forgotten. "Hello, old chap," he said. "How's the world using you? Still on space?" "Yes," I replied bitterly, "with prospects of being on the town shortly. But if you look as if things were coming your way, tell me all about it." Things have been coming my way for a fact, and it is also remarkable when all is said. You know Sturtevant, don't you? It's all due to him. I was plumb down on my luck, thinking of the morgue, and all that. Looking for you, in fact, with the idea that you would lend me enough to pay my room rent. When I met Sturtevant, he told me a story, and really, old man, it is the most remarkable story you have ever heard. It made a new man out of me. Within 24 hours, I was on my feet. I've hardly known a care or trouble since. Avery's statement, uttered calmly and with the air of one who had merely pronounced an axiom, recalled to my mind the conversation with Sturtevant in the cafe that stormy night, nearly a month before. "Oh, it must really be a remarkable story," I said incredulously. "Sturtevant mentioned it to me once. I have not seen him since. Where is he now?" "Oh, he has been making war sketches in Cuba at $200 a week. He's just returned. It is a fact that everybody who has heard the story has done well since. There are Cosgrove and Phillips, friends of mine. Well, you don't know them. One's a real estate agent, the other's a broker clerk. Sturtevant told them this story, and they have experienced the same results that I have. And they're not the only ones." "Do you know the story?" I asked. "Will you try its effect on me?" "Certainly, with the greatest pleasure in the world. I would like to have printed it in big black type and posted it on the elevator stations throughout New York. It certainly would do a lot of good. It's as simple as ABC, just like living on a farm. Oh, excuse me a minute, will you? I see Danforth over there. Back in a minute, old chap." If the truth be told, I was hungry. My pocket at that moment contained exactly 5 cents, just enough to pay up my fare uptown. but insufficient also to stand the expense of filling my stomach. There was a night owl wagon in the neighborhood where I frequently stood up to the purveyor of midnight dainties, and to him I applied. He was leaving the wagon as I was on the point of entering it, and I accosted him. "I'm broke again," I said with extreme cordiality. "You'll have to trust me once more. Some ham and eggs, I think, will do for the present." He coughed, hesitated a moment, and then re-entered the wagon with me. "Mr. Courier is good for anything he orders," he said to the man in charge. "One of my oldest customers. This is Mr. Bryan, Mr. Courier. He will take good care of you and stand for you, just as the same as I would. The fact is, I have sold out. I've just turned over the outfit to Bryan. By the way, isn't Mr. Sturtevant a friend of yours?" I nodded. I couldn't have spoken if I had tried. "Well," continued the ex-night owl man, "he came in here one night about a month ago, told me the most wonderful story I've ever heard. I just bought a place in 8th Avenue where I'm going to run a regular restaurant near 23rd Street. Come and see me." He was out of the wagon and sliding door had been banged shut before I could even stop him. So I ate my ham and eggs in silence, and I reserved that I would hear that story before I slept. In fact, I began to regard it with superstition.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the first part of the story, and stay tuned because next Thursday, it's another Throwback Thursday with part 2 of the magic story. Wanted to give a quick weird observation I've been making, and I don't know if you guys have seen this also. With the clouds changing and the colors of the sky being quite a bit more intense and changing as well, the cloud formations, there's a lot more UFOs out there lately. And the weird mysterious booms, and then the upper atmosphere, there's these strange explosions that cannot be explained, but have been caught on camera from the Mir space station. Is it the Mir? I'm sorry, I think it's something else. It can't be the Mir. I think that fell to Earth, didn't it? Oh my God. I hate these bleed over memories, from 2 or 3 timelines, and you're remembering 2 or 3 things. Anyway, the space station that's up there, I almost said upstairs, not upstairs, up in the atmosphere. The Russians caught this on video. 2 or 3 explosions in the upper atmosphere. And below on the ground, they didn't see anything, but they heard mysterious booms. And that was about a week ago, and I forgot to report on that. But the other thing I noticed, that when the sun goes to set here, it was always setting in one part of the sky, and now it's so bright that the clouds are reflecting it as if the sun is setting in 3 or 4 places at one time. It's a weird, I know it's not real, we don't have 4 suns, but it appears as if we have 4 suns setting in 4 parts of the sky at once. I want to know your guys' feedback on that too. If you've encountered this, it's pretty strange, really strange stuff going on. Maybe it's always happened and I'm just noticing it now because I am forever looking at the sky after seeing some of the crazy stuff that I've been seeing in the past few months. I can't stop staring at the sky. Of course, I live in Ecuador and we are kind of in a cloud forest, and it's very magical here, the way the sky looks. I look at the sky and it's kind of pink. I take a picture and it's hot pink, and on every stinking setting, it's exactly the same. It's so ultra pink that the camera's catching something my eye isn't. And a lot of pictures people are taking lately, hot pink skies. It's weird and beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so grateful. So I'm not complaining. Never complaining about this because it's pretty intense. Anyway, I look forward to coming back tomorrow with an all brand new show. You never know what I'm going to do till I get there. I plan out a couple shows a week, and then the rest is just literally like 10 minutes before sometimes. I ask God, what do you want me to do? Sometimes it's 4 hours of research. Sometimes it's stuff I already know. So I don't know, but it's going to be good, whatever it is. It'll be something that someone somewhere needs to hear, as always. So I love each and every one of you. And right now I am signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.